today, so excited. We're doing a really well-deserved restorative yoga practice today. So as I said in the description, you need 2 firm pillows. Now I have, to make my pillows extra firm, I've actually put 2 pillows inside each pillowcase, just for a little extra support. You can do that too. And you need 2 blankets. I actually have 3 blankets in case I get cold and I'd like to drape a blanket over top of me. So that's another option also available to you. Feel free to put some music on in the background if you like. I also have a yoga block. It's optional. You only need it if you want to add a little more support, something a little more firm. I don't have an extra yoga block with me today, but feel free to use that option if it's available to you. Now, as always, only do what feels good in your body. Modify in whatever way you need to. Give yourself more support, less support. The purpose behind restorative yoga is to really relax and feel supported so that you can completely let go. Not just physically, feeling all of your muscles, just let go of your bones and feeling the support, the physical support, the pillows, the blankets, the floor, but also just to let your mind wander, to breathe, and just to be you, whoever you are, when there are no questions, when there are no demands, just you on your yoga mat, enjoying yourself, breathing. So, let's get started. I'm sitting on my rolled up blanket. You can go ahead and sit on a block, rolled up towel. We're going to do a tiny little bit of a warm up just to get the blood flowing. It's early in the day yet. So sitting tall, sitting comfortably. Rest your hands on your thighs, palms up, palms down. It doesn't matter which. First thing I want you to do is close your eyes. You're in the safety of your own home. You're in an environment that's familiar. You don't have to worry about what's going on around you. Focus completely on what's going on inside of you. Feel the breath flow. Feel your body begin to soften. There's no holding tight today. It's all about letting go. Let your legs feel heavy, shoulders and arms. There's no clenching of the jaw or squeezing around the eyes. Let everything soften. Breathe. Now sitting tall, with your next breath in, draw your shoulders up towards your ears, and as you exhale, just roll them back and slide them down. Now keep that. Stay really broad and open through the collarbones and through the front of the body. Fronts of the shoulders pulling back. Then slowly just drop your chin down towards your chest. So in the slow, steady stretch, reach down the back of your neck. Keeping the jaw soft, head really heavy. Now just gently roll your head from shoulder to shoulder. Pass through chin to chest on your way over to the other side. Keep both shoulders heavy. Notice if you start to pull your shoulders up. Use the weight of the arms. Exaggerate the sensation of heaviness through the arms to the hands to keep the shoulders down. Just a couple more times, rolling from shoulder to shoulder. Feeling the stretch on both sides of the neck and the back of the neck. Then come back to center, chin to chest position. A breath in. Exhale, just let your shoulders feel heavy, your head feel heavy. Then lift up, sitting tall. Open your eyes if they happen to be closed. Let's take a breath in and sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, right hand comes to the mat, left hand reaches over. Just stretching into the whole left side of your body. Breath in, sweeping wide. Left hand comes to the mat, right hand reaches over. Let's do that a couple more times. Just waking up through the whole body. Feeling, oh my gosh, stretching always feels so good, doesn't it? Wherever you are, one more time to each side. Be sure to move with your own breath. And then coming back to center. All right, so sitting cross-legged here, hands to your knees, and just start to rotate. Even if your legs aren't crossed, your legs can be straight out in front. Just rotate through the upper body, going slowly enough to feel the stretch into the hips as the upper body moves. Keep the hips heavy. Come back up tall and rotate the other way. Coming up tall once again. All right, I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see. Gonna place your feet flat, knees bent, and just holding the back of your knees. Sitting up tall, a little more warm up through the spine here. As you inhale, sit tall, bring your gaze up to the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. As you exhale, lean back, rounding through the back, chin to chest. Kind of roll back onto your sacrum. Another breath in, sitting tall, eyes float up towards the corner. Exhale, leaning back. Belly button pulls in towards the spine, shoulder blades spread wide. Let's do that 2 more times. Last one. Bring yourself tall, legs straight out in front this time. Spread your toes to rest your weight on the back of your heels. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, come far enough forward, you can bring your fingertips to the floor, to the outside of your legs. Take another breath. Stay long through the upper body, and as you exhale, bend at the elbows to deepen your forward fold, just until you feel the stretch into the lower back, right across the sacrum. Feel a gentle stretch in the back of the knees here, nothing too intense. Not what today's yoga practice is about. Staying soft. Let's take another breath in, and as you exhale, sink in a little bit deeper. After a couple of breaths, you can feel that your body starts to release. The same thing will happen today as you hold, well, as the pillows hold you in your yoga pose. You're not holding on. So after a few breaths, you might feel some release or some shift in your body. That's normal. The body begins to soften as you let go. Let's press up. All right, leaning back, knees bent, feet hip distance apart, and just let your knees go from side to side. Again, a little bit of a warm up, not too much pressure on the hands here, just enough to hold you steady. All right, I think we're ready for our first supported yoga pose. It's going to be child's pose. So here we go. This is how we're going to set it up. You can take one blanket, place it across your mat for your knees. And you want it to be as wide or wider than your mat because your knees are going to be wide. So knees come up onto the mat. Now, take your pillows. You're going to place one pillow across your mat. The second pillow, you're going to use the first pillow to support the far end of your pillow. So your pillows are at 90 degrees. They're perpendicular to each other. Then you're going to snuggle up. So you're going to bring your knees outside your pillows. Now, if this is too much pressure on your knees, you can take your second towel or blanket, place it behind your knees so that you don't sink and put too much pressure on your knees. This will keep your hips a little higher. You can also keep your hips higher as you shift forward onto your pillow. Place hand on top of hand. We're going to start here with the head turned to the right. So resting your left temple on the back of your hands. Sink in. Let your shoulders fall wide. Feel the support of the pillow. Take a couple of breaths. Once you're in position, you can really sink in. Close your eyes. Breathe. Now this first pose, you get a sense of how firm your pillows are and how much you will sink in. If you need a little more height, a little more support, this is when you can add an extra blanket between your pillows. You can put the yoga block between your pillows. That also gives you more support. Just build it up as you need it. Grab whatever you need to bring up the support for you. Modify in whatever way your body needs right now. And as you breathe into your supported child's pose, you might find that you can remove some of the supports. As your body releases, you can go deeper into the pose. So let your head feel heavy. Feel the back of your neck soften. Notice if you're clenching your jaw and soften. Notice if you're squeezing the backs of your legs, your calves into the backs of your thighs. Let go. You don't need to hold on here. You're on the floor. You're supported by pillows, blankets. You're in the safety and security of your own home. You can relax. Couple of breaths. Feel your breath beginning to steady. And as you settle in, the breath deepens even more. Try not to control your breath, but allow it to be. And as your breath naturally flows, you become comfortable. You feel safe. Now lift your head and just slowly turn your head the other way. Stack your hands the other way. So placing the other hand on top. Now placing your right temple on the back of your hands. Settle in once again. Notice how quickly, just from lifting your head and turning the other way, tension crept in. And you have to tell yourself once again to soften, to sink in, to let go. Close your eyes and breathe. Feel the weight of your body sinking into your shins. Aware of the softness of the blanket below. Feel the heaviness through the hips, the stretch through the lower back. The softness through the shoulders. The heavy spot at the right temple. Feeling the support of your hands and the pillows below. We'll take one more breath here. Linger in your exhalation, really sink in. Lift your head. And just slowly press up. All right, placing pillows off to the side. Removing the blankets. Feel free to keep the blankets handy, everything handy, of course. All right, lying back this time. Getting ready for a soft twist here. Arms out to the sides, in line with your shoulders. Let the backs of your hands rest on the floor. So you feel really open through the collarbones. You've tucked your shoulder blades behind you, so you're really open through the front of the body. Feet are flat on the floor. Now walk your feet as wide as your mat. Get a sense that your right foot is at the right edge and your left foot is at the left edge. Take a breath. And as you exhale, let your knees fall to the left. So roll onto the outside edge of your left foot, inside edge of your right foot. Now, if you need some support under your right knee here, that's where you reach for one of your pillows or the rolled up blanket. I'm going to use a rolled up blanket. This is optional. So you place it at the center of your mat between your feet. You can do the same to the outside of your left knee. So when your knees fall to the left, your right knee lands on the support of the blanket. But you want it to be low enough that you can feel the stretch in the front of your left thigh, your right thigh, right hip. You want your right shoulder to stay anchored to the floor when your knees go to the left. So if your right shoulder pulls away from the mat, it means you might need some support to the outside of your left thigh. So the left thigh might need a blanket to roll onto. So the left blanket comes to the outside of your left leg, and when your knees fall to the left, the outside of your left thigh lands on a blanket, the inside of your right knee lands on a blanket for support. You only need the support if you feel yourself holding on, right? Bracing against letting your knees fall to the side. You're okay with it letting your legs feel heavy. You can remove the blankets one at a time as your body opens and loosens. So I'm demonstrating the support for you. Feel free to use 2 blankets, 1 blanket, no blankets, or pillows if you need more support, more height. That's up to you. So once you find the level of support that you need, then you can settle in. Right shoulder grounded. You can feel the stretch on the right side of the body, the front of the right thigh, the right hip. You can feel yourself sinking into your outer left hip. Go ahead, roll your head to the right, looking along your right arm, chin tucking slightly towards your right shoulder, completing the full rotation of your spine. Relax both shoulders, both arms. Just feel yourself really lingering in your breath, noticing how good it feels to breathe. You can feel the heavy spot in your skull, just above your right ear or so. You can feel both shoulders firmly supported by the floor, the earth below. Arms are limp, hands are soft. Feel your weight sinking into your outer left thigh, left buttock. You can feel the openness on the right side of your body from your knee to your armpit. Long stretch. You can feel the weight of your legs supported by the outside edge of your left foot and the inside edge of your right foot. Keep checking in with your body, noticing if tension creeps into the shoulders, if you begin to brace yourself, because that's the habit that we've set over the last few months, kind of bracing ourselves for the next bit of information to drop, the next bit of news to come. Well, for the next little while, you don't have to worry about that. Think only of letting go and breathing. Linger in the heaviness of your physical body. Feel comforted by it, just like you would by the weight of a blanket over top. Couple more breaths. Make sure you're sinking into the floor, letting the floor, the blankets, your yoga mat, they're doing all the work. That's what's doing the work here, not you. Your work today is awareness. Awareness of letting go. Awareness of the balance between holding on, bracing yourself, softening, and letting go. Bring your head to center, knees to center. So coming back onto the soles of your feet. Your feet are still as wide as your mat. You can feel the weight on the back of your hips now. Sacrum feels heavy. Just pause here for a moment. Let the back of the hips feel really heavy. Soften through the lower back. Just let your lower back sink down into the mat. Now, if you're using the support of your blanket for the outside of your thigh, on your left side, just take a moment now to shift your rolled blanket to the right side of your mat. Kind of eyeball it where you think your right knee is going to end up. Arms out to the side, shoulder blades tucked underneath you, backs of your hands resting on the floor. Take a breath. And as you exhale, roll onto the outside edge of your right foot, inside edge of your left foot. Oh, my blanket's not quite in the right spot for my left knee. There we go. So if you're using your blankets for support, you want to feel the blanket to the outside of your right knee and the inside of your left knee. But it needs to be low enough that you can feel the stretch on the front of your left thigh, left hip. You want the long stretch on the whole left side of your body. You want your left shoulder supported, connected to the floor. So if your left shoulder is pulling away from the mat, it means you need support, a little more support to the outside of your right knee. Left shoulder, right knee. Those are the two things that are connected here. That's the seesaw alignment. Now, once you find your support, you can use rolled blankets or not. It's completely up to you. Modify as needed. Sink into the outer right thigh, the right buttock. Feel the long stretch on the left side of your body from your knee to your armpit. And gently roll your head to the left, chin tucking in towards your left shoulder, completing the full rotation of your vertebrae. Soften through the shoulders. Notice that moment when you exhale and you let go. Arms completely heavy, hands totally limp. You can feel the weight on the left side of your head, just above your ear. Jaw is soft. You're aware of all that space on the left side of your body. Just breathe into it. Make your breath that big and feel the reward of a long, deep, satisfying breath. Remind yourself with every breath out to sink in. Notice how tension, tightness, holding on creeps in. But the trick is to be aware and to remind yourself to use your exhalation to let go. Notice how your breath really begins to slow down. At the same time, the mind begins to slow down. We'll take one more breath. Really feel it. Bring your head to center. Bring your knees back to center. Push into the edges of your feet to rotate back onto your hips. Knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Again, just let your hips feel heavy for a couple of breaths here. Whew. Roll onto your right side. Press up. All right, getting ready for forward fold, a wide-legged forward fold. So the first thing is to sit on one of your rolled up blankets. Place it across your mat. This will help you sit tall and will also help you go a little more deeply into your forward fold. I'm going to shift back just a little bit more. There we go. Sitting on your rolled up blanket. Feet a little bit wider than your mat, nothing more than that. Now placing your pillows the same way you did before, so perpendicular. One going across your mat and one running parallel. So I've just kind of tucked the edge of the pillow that's closest to me kind of under my thighs. It's soft and squishy, so that always helps. All right, now, depending on how tight the back of your knees feel, depending on how tight your hips might feel, you might need a little more support here. But place your sideways pillow, the one that's underneath, place it in a position you can get your hands on your pillow with really not having to go into your forward fold. So you've got extra support here. If you have another blanket, you can place it again between the two pillows to bring the pillow closer. You can use your yoga block here as well. Modify as needed, and as your pose deepens, you can always take some of the supports away. All right, so pillow is close enough. I've got my hands on the pillow. I'm sitting really tall, resting my weight on the back of my heels, toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Taking a breath and exhaling, bending at the elbows, hinging forward towards the pillow for support. I'm just letting my forehead come to the pillow. You can once your forehead comes to the pillow, you can now shift your hands because you don't need your hands for support now. The pillow will support you. You can place hand on top of hand and sink into the pillow. Oh, yeah. So the advantage here of getting your hands onto the pillow and your forehead on the back of your hands is you can let your elbows and arms feel heavy. And that helps to pull the shoulder blades broad and really sink in. Oh. Breathe. So this time I'm going to turn my head to the left and rest right temple on my hands. Sink in. Soften. Just bring your awareness to the backs of your legs, backs of your thighs. Really let your legs feel heavy. Let go of the tension there. Right? There's no springing into action today, so the hamstrings can really soften. Those are the muscles in the backs of your thighs. Let them be long. Now bringing your awareness to the back of your hips. Just let the back of the hips feel really heavy. Feel a subtle stretch in the lower back. Just subtle. arms heavy, using the weight of the arms to really relax through the shoulders. And returning to your breath. Sinking into the supports you've put in place. And as you feel your body releasing, going more deeply into the pose, feel free to remove some of the supports. Take one more breath here. Then lift your head, turn the other way, just slowly, flipping your hands the other way as well. So placing the other hand on top. Now turning to look to the right. So your left temple is resting on the back of your hands. Now if you feel like your body wants to go deeper, but you're down to just 2 pillows, if you push the lower pillow a little farther away, careful now, if you go too far, you'll really sink in. You'll be able to go a little more deeply. You can play with this a little bit. Don't take too long to play, because the important thing here is to really settle in. So here I can feel I'm deeper into the pose, but because I've gone deeper, I have to remind myself again to let go. So legs heavy, backs of the legs feel a little bit longer now because I'm deeper into the forward fold. Softening behind the knees. Feeling the stretch in the back of the hips. Releasing the tension from the shoulders, letting my arms feel heavy. And then reconnecting to my breath. Noticing the rise and fall of my belly as I press into the pillow with each breath in. And I'm feeling the rib cage pull away from the pillow as I exhale just as deeply as I inhaled. Breathe. Couple more breaths here. Checking in with the body. And as you exhale, not just letting go of your breath, but letting go of tension, of tightness, letting go of having to be at the ready every moment. Lift your head. You're just slowly beginning to come out. Bring your head, your chin back to center. Use your hands to push into the pillow and bring yourself up. Place your pillows off to the side. Once again. Slide off your rolled up blanket and just place the rolled up blanket just behind your hips here. So this is a supported bridge pose. We're getting ready to do a little bit of a back bend. If you're not comfortable here, feel free to remove the blanket completely, or make it not quite as round. You can flatten it a little bit. So knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and just lie back. Come down onto your elbows first, just slowly bringing yourself down. See, there you go. There's the back bend. Right at the lower back, right behind the hips. So this might be too big for you, and that's okay. You can remove the blanket entirely. Arms to the sides here, 90-degree bend in the elbows. Shoulders fully resting on the floor, back of the head really heavy. Let your hips feel heavy. Remember, you can remove the blanket if it feels like it's too much. Now, elbows bent at 90 degrees in this cactus arm position. This might be, if you have a shoulder injury, this too might be too much. So feel free to reach your arms straight out side to side like we did a moment ago in the twist. It's completely up to you, modifying whatever way you need to. Bending the elbows at 90 degrees simply opens the shoulders a little bit more. So again, if you have a shoulder injury, please feel free to modify this. Let your hips feel heavy. Sink into the blanket. Sink into the support beneath you. Really let your hips feel heavy. Now this is a very tricky pose. There's a lot of tension in the lower back. I want you to notice if there is any fear bubbling up here, because not only is this a back bend, putting a lot of curve in the lower back, but it's also opening your heart. And being open-hearted, boy, you can be vulnerable sometimes, but the rewards from having your open heart and just loving so limitlessly can really add color and beauty to every day. So just practice this here in the safety of your own home, your own yoga mat. Practice opening your heart. Just breathe into your heart center. Connect to that little spot of joy. Might take a moment to find it. If you need to, think of a joyful memory. And notice how it makes your heart soar. Well, here in this open bridge pose, your heart can soar. Now let go of the memory, but hold on to the feeling of joy. Breathe into it. Couple more breaths. Not staying here too long. One more. Now, slowly bringing your arms to your sides. Walk your feet in towards each other and roll onto your right side. Just slowly rolling over. Use your right arm to support your head and neck and press up. Move your blanket, if you were using it, off to the side. All right. Next pose, supported cobbler pose. So this time, you're going to create the T position for your pillows once again, but behind you, because you're going to lie back onto the pillows this time. So your pillows are perpendicular. You want your pillow right at your lower back. So you can already feel the back of your hips on the tall pillow. Blankets handy, one to each side of your knees, just in case. You might need it, you might not. So I've got one blanket on each side of the mat. So knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Lean back. Recline back onto the pillows. Oh yeah, that feels good. Now, big toes come in together to touch. You can feel the inside edges of your heels touch. And then let your knees fall wide. Soles of the feet come together. So the blankets are here to support the outsides of your knees. You need more support. You bring the blankets in towards your hips. That will give you more support. So the closer they are to your hips, the higher your knees will be. And as you lay in this supported cobbler position, of course, your body will open. Your inner thighs will release. And as that happens, so when you feel the pressure on the outsides of your thighs resting on the blankets, you can move the blankets outwards. And your knees will fall a little bit wider until finally you may not need the blankets at all. Now, arms to your sides here. Again, opening through the heart, opening through the collarbones, rolling your shoulder blades underneath you. Let your arms be heavy. Rest on the back of your hands. Try not to fold your hands over your belly, because that will, you won't open as much through the shoulders, through the collarbones. If you need support for your hands, pull your blankets a little bit closer so your hands can rest on the blankets. That'll give you a little more support. If it's too much, to bring your hands to the floor. Make whatever modifications you need to. When you feel ready to settle in, you lie back, you close your eyes, and breathe. Just feel the weight of your arms, pulling the collarbones broad, opening through the fronts of the shoulders. Really open for your heart. Open for your breath, like your whole body feels open in this supported cobbler pose. Take a couple of breaths here to scan your body. Notice if there's any tension in your jaw, in your shoulders. Let it go. And then the same thing, bringing your awareness to your hips. Relaxing through the hips, letting your legs feel really heavy, sinking into the support. Right? You've set up your apparatus, your blankets, your pillows, so you're fully supported and you can let go. You don't need to hold you. That has been taken care of. Bring your attention back to your heart, to your heart center. Reconnect to the feeling of joy that's always within you. And breathe. As you inhale, feel the lift. And as you exhale, connect to the sensation of heaviness, of comfort, of security. You're safe here. You are supported here. You are free. Free to be joyful. Free to celebrate. Celebrate you. Continue enveloping yourself with your breath, connecting to the present moment. Feeling calm, feeling even, balanced. Take a couple more breaths here in the supported cobbler pose. Now to slowly come out, just wiggle your fingers and toes. And support your knees as you bring your knees back to center, coming once again onto the soles of your feet. Shifting your blankets. Now bringing your hands to the mat. You can bring your hands to the mat or reach for the back of your knees and just slowly bring yourself up. All right, we're going to move the pillows. One pillow to each side of the mat, placing the blankets off to the side. One pillow there, and one pillow there. All right, lie back. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. Stretch your left leg out long so you can feel the back of your heel resting on the mat. Now place your left foot so it feels like your left big toe is in line with your belly button. You're going to slide the blanket right beside your left leg. Left hand reaches for your right knee. Right arm goes out to the side. Now take a breath. And as you exhale, just gently pull your right knee, right foot over to the pillow on the left side. So we're doing a bit of a rotation here. Anchor your right shoulder. So just like the twist we did before, you want to make sure there's enough support under your right knee here as it goes to the left side, but that the right shoulder stays on the floor, connected, supported by the mat below. You might need a little more support. If that's the case, you bring your other pillow over, bring it higher, and rest your knee on 2 pillows instead of 1 pillow. It all depends on where you're at. Now, I encourage you not to go pillowless here because you can always sink into the pillow a little more deeply. Now, use your left hand to hold the outside of your right thigh. Let your left arm go really heavy. Use the weight of your left arm to hold your right knee onto the pillow. As you exhale, I want you to think about softening through your rib cage and opening the rib cage up to the right as you turn your head to look along your right arm. Right chin tucking in towards your shoulder. Sink onto your left buttock, left thigh. So instead of bracing against the mat, bracing against the floor, sink in. Soften through the rib cage. Let the right side of your rib cage fall towards the floor. But left hand, weight of your left arm, so you're not gripping your right leg with your left hand. Just let your left hand, left arm feel heavy. Just kind of hook your finger around your knee. Let your left shoulder, left arm sink into the floor as well. So you're feeling a stretch here into the outside of the right hip. Previously, in the twist that we did before, we stretched the front of the thigh. Now we're stretching the back of the hip, the IT band. Relax the left buttock, left thigh. Relax the whole left leg, left side of the rib cage, left shoulder, left arm. And now the right side. Right leg resting on the pillow. Feeling the stretch in the outer right hip. Right side of the rib cage sinking down into the floor. Chin tucking in towards your right shoulder. Right arm is long and heavy. Breathe. So even though you're in a twist here, I want you to feel open through the heart. Continue to keep your awareness with your heart. Stay connected to the sensation of joy. With the right arm long and the right shoulder supported by the floor, the heart can stay open even though you're in a twist. Each breath out, just think of releasing. Not just releasing the breath, but releasing all your muscle fibers away from the bones, letting go completely physically. And then releasing spiritually joy and gratitude from the heart out. One more breath. Really breathe all the way into the belly and all the way out. Bring your head back to center. Release your left hand from your right knee and just slide your right foot down towards your left foot and just slowly roll back onto your hips. Oh. Take a moment here. Just adjust. Feel your weight equal on the backs of both hips. Arms straight out, side to side. Feels good. And bend your knees, feet flat on the floor. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Now stretch your right leg long. You've already got your other pillow to the right side of your mat this time. Now take a moment to adjust the placement of your right foot. Get a sense that your right big toe is in line with your belly button. Right hand reaches for the outside of your left knee. Left arm goes out to the side. Take a breath. And as you exhale, bring left knee over to the pillow at the right side. Rolling onto the outside edge of your right hip now. Right leg is long. Just let it be heavy. Sink into your hip. Right arm is heavy, using the weight of your right arm to keep the left knee in place, resting on the pillow to stop you from falling back over to the left side. Left shoulder resting on the mat, completely supported by the floor, by the earth below. If you need more support under your left knee on the right side, go ahead and pile both blankets on top of each other. Brings your knee up, brings the left shoulder back down to the floor. That's your measure. Keep the left shoulder on the floor. At the same time, enough support under the left knee. The left shoulder isn't pulling away from the mat. Once you find the right amount of support, never presuming that one side is the same as the other. We try to minimize asymmetry in yoga, but you can't always completely eliminate it. Relax into your right hip, right leg. Right arm is heavy, right shoulder is heavy. Oh, yeah, feels good. When you feel like you've got the right amount of support, just turn your head to the left. Your chin tucks in towards your left shoulder. Left arm is heavy. As you exhale, releasing all the tension. Reminding yourself to let go with every breath out. Now here in this twist, let's bring the breath all the way down into the belly. Really be aware of the movement of the belly and the depth of your breath. Feel your body literally rise up away from the mat just a tiny little bit with each breath in. And then as you exhale, with complete trust, sink into the support of the floor, the support of the pillow. Then keep that softness with your next breath in. And simply fill yourself up completely with your breath. And exhale. Just as fully as you inhaled. Feel the frequency of your breath beginning to slow down. Each breath taking a little bit longer. Not just for the inhale and the exhale, but notice how you begin to linger in the pause in between where there's nothing. That pause where there's just you, full of life, vitality, and stillness. What a contradiction we are. Continue to release, being aware of when tension and tightness creeps in. The habit of holding on will create the habit of being aware Remind yourself, feel the rise and fall of the belly, rise and fall of your whole body with each breath. Take a couple more breaths here. Bring your head back to center. Let go. Right hand lets go of your left knee and just slide your left foot down towards your right foot. And roll on to the back of your hips. Arms out to the sides. Legs stretched out. Take a couple of breaths here. Just feel open. Just breathe. And just wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor. Roll onto your right side. And press up. All right, we're coming into our last restorative pose, supported Shavasana. So, this one is always very exciting. I'm going to take one pillow, place it behind you. Now I'm going to use a rolled up blanket here to support the far end of my pillow. Just so there's a slight incline and a little more support at the back of the pillow. I'm going to take my other pillow and it's going to go under my knees. So I can feel the pillow behind me right at my hips already. The other pillow is under my knees. And I'm going to take my other blanket, oh yes, and drape it over top. Now use your hands for support and bring yourself all the way back. So you want to make sure the pillow is placed so that you have support in the back of your head. You want to feel warm and cozy. Bring your arms to your sides. So again, Shoulder blades are tucked underneath you, and you feel really open through the collarbones, open through the heart. The back of the head is supported. Back of the hands resting on the floor. I'm going to tuck mine underneath so they don't get cold. Close your eyes. Take a few moments here, a few breaths to relax your feet. Feel the weight of your legs sinking into the support of the pillow behind your knees. Feel the weight in your hips. Your belly feels heavy. If you like, you can place extra weight on your belly. It can really help you feel comforted and safe. Just with that extra weight. Could be an extra blanket that you reach for and place it on your belly. A wood yoga block. A cushion. It just feels comfortable to have a little weight on the front of the body. Another blanket draped over top of you. Oh, if you have one of those weighted blankets, that would be delicious right here. Let your hands feel heavy on the floor. Let the weight of your arms really spread the collarbones wide. No tension in the throat. Jaw is soft. Even parting your teeth slightly and releasing your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Eyes softly closed. No squeezing of the cheeks or pulling the eyebrows in together. Let your eyelids float like lily pads on a pond. Let the weight of your ears kind of pull down towards the floor. Really let your whole body feel heavy. Now bring your awareness to the very tip of your nose. And as you take your breath in, tune into the sensation of the cool breath being drawn into the nose. It might take a couple of tries, and that's okay. Feel the coolness of the breath being drawn into the nose. Then follow that sensation. Feel the movement of the breath in the nasal passages. Notice that with every breath in. Now follow the breath from the tip of the nose, wandering up the nasal passages and floating into your sinus cavities. Tip of the nose, nasal passages, floating into the sinus cavities. With your next breath in, follow your breath even deeper. Tip of the nose, wandering up the nasal passages, floating into the sinus cavities, and now kind of meandering down your throat and into the belly. Feel the belly rise. Really fill yourself up with a warm, beautiful breath. And then exhale, releasing out from the belly, meandering the throat, sinus cavities, and releasing completely outwards. Ready to fill yourself up with your next breath. Tip of the nose, wandering through the nasal passages, floating into the sinus cavities, meandering down the throat, filling up the belly, and then releasing all the way out. Noticing how the breath has been transformed into this warm energy that came from within. Now let go of your breath. As you exhale, sink into the support beneath you. Sink into the heaviness of your body. How comfortable it is to be and breathe. Now slowly begin to bring your awareness back. Aware of the support below you. Aware of your surroundings, reconnecting to your environment outside. Take in a long, lingering breath. And as you exhale fully, sink in deeply. Bring some movement to your fingers, toes, hands and feet, arms, and legs. Bend your knees, placing your feet on the floor. Just gently, slowly come off the support that's beneath you and roll onto your right side. Take another long, lingering breath here. And then press up. Coming all the way up. Sitting tall. Hands together at the heart. And eyes softly closed. Taking a moment to be grateful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be loved. May all beings be at peace. Thank you very much for joining me. Namaste.